It's back now to you, Chamberlain.
All right, thank you, Mark. Well, we're turning attention to security-related matter. Everyone knows about that scenario in Oyo as well as Ondo. But we'll start off with that of Oyo. And today we've got Mr. Fatai Owosheni, who is the Special Advisor on Security Matters to the Governor of Oyo State and also former Commissioner of Police for Lagos and Benue States. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today on the program. Well, yeah, well, we've seen that there's so much happening at the moment about that scenario playing out in Oyo State. You have also been visiting some of those communities and some of the areas and people involved. Could you tell us what is the latest scenario now about the matter between farmers, herders, and the youths in Oyo State?
Thank you very much. Agreed, so much happening on the social media, while lesser things are happening on the ground. What is the relationship between the farmers and herders? They have been trying to manage themselves with a view to be able to do their business without either molesting the other. And you've also mentioned that we went to some of those areas. It's not the first time that we go there. People are going about their businesses in most of the places, even in Igangan, where it was the theater of the whole exercise. The people are ready to move on. The people are ready to forge on and be able to do their lawful endeavors without any fear or threat of a war coming up. And that's the situation here.
Okay, so tell us, because if you say so much going on social media and a lot less in the real world, in parentheses, why then did that video circulate? I mean, what informed that decision of Mr. Sunday Adeyemo issuing the threat?
I don't think I want to be discussing that. That is past. We have to move on. We have to learn our lessons. I listened to Professor Ali Kali that has just spoken. We don't probably know and envisage what would be the resultant effect of what we're asking of. Professor Kali had said it, and I know that my governor here, the executive governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, had said it, that we need to, close the gaps between the people that are being governed and the government, between the people and the institutions that are set up to protect them, that are supposed to render certain obligations. It's just about the gap. The gap somehow, for certain reasons, which are systemic, seems to be widening. And for us in Nigeria, and of course, Oyo State is not the only state, the HENSA has also widened the gap further. What are the institutions not doing to carry the people along? If I have a family member that has been kidnapped and I don't get a feedback to say that, oh, yes, this is what we've done in respect of your case. This is how the case is going on within the judiciary and whatever. Yeah, the person will get disillusioned, the person will get disappointed. We were in Igangan where a lot of people came out to say, look, we seems to be lacking confidence in the institution that's supposed to protect us. And why do they lack confidence? Because you also have some elected officials and some people in that area who are, distant from the people. I can say it as a matter of record that a lot of people have been saying, no, things have been happening. Government has not been involved. The police has not been involved. They don't even know that for some of the kidnapping cases that took place, that there were suspects that are arrested. That was why the list of the 51 suspects that were connected, I mean actively connected, that the victims have come to identify. But if you have an institution that is not telling them, this is the progress of your case, they will think that they've been abandoned. We've been having discussion with the people in the area. Some of the issues that came out yesterday, I want to tell you that I personally, that have been involved in what is happening there, having meetings with the local government chairman and some of the victims, I've not heard of that before. That someone just constitutes himself to a lord in that area. So many allegations were leveled against that particular individual that they called Seriki. Oh, that for the past 5, 6, 7 years, he has been committing these atrocities, he's been doing this, he's been the one that is the vessel through which monies are paid to kidnappers and all those things. Some of them, conspiracy of silence, and all these things are coming out now. So we have to move on. We should leave what has happened. What we do from what happened yesterday, day before yesterday, is to learn lesson and see how we can move on and make sure that the people the institutions are obliged to are given the the benefit, the full benefit of the tax that they pay to make the institutions survive.
The thing about moving on is that it depends at least somewhat on those other people who are affected there. If they don't get closure, I wonder how they will move on. But then from what you've said, it suggests that it comes across as though, one, you're saying that the police authorities have not been handling all of those cases of kidnappings or security challenges there properly, because if they have been, this will not have gotten to this level. Is that part of what you're saying?
They've not been able to celebrate their success. I would start from the case of the kidnapping that led to the death of that young man who went with a friend to the farm. People were arrested who also confessed to say that, oh, this person that is working for this person had asked us to come and do this. A chairman of one of the LCDA was kidnapped. People were arrested. In some of the cases, part of the so-called ransom was recovered. But the institution must know how to celebrate their success. And again, people somehow are not patient, because when some of those things do happen and you want to go there, I don't want to lay emphasis much on the answers, which has changed a lot of things. That when people even go to respond to threats and whatever, the next thing is that they start throwing stones at them. It is not as if they want to do that. It's because they lack confidence. So we must build a kind of, look for a way to restore confidence back in our people, and not for people to make reckless comments both ways. People are saying Sunday Igboho has said this, which ought not to have been said. And you have some people that are being paid with public fund also responding on behalf of a socio-cultural group. Is that reasonable? Is that responsible at all? So all of us must guide what we say. If we continue to drum, the beat of war, if we are talking of war, you know where war will start and you don't know where it will end. For some of them, they've not seen it before. Some of us have seen it before. We've been out of this country to see where wars had been fought. If you think that if it happens, oh, you will escape, you have where to run to, it may not be so. So that is why we should be responsible in the comments and the narrations and what we throw out in the social media. Even yesterday that we went to Igangan, I've read things on certain platforms that said, oh, government and the commissioner of police went to visit Igangan, and Sunday Igboho came there to come and address the youth, to come and tell them that he has met with the commissioner of police and deputies, which did not happen, for God's sake. And before you know it, thousands of people will comment on that to say, oh, even Sunday Igboho had the effrontery to go and meet the commissioner of police there and confront her and do her parallel talking to the people. Why should we do this? We should just know that you know the beginning of war, you won't know the end. For some of the people, and who are the people I'm talking of? The people of Southwest. Do we remain the wild, wild West? People that will sit down in the comfort of their homes and be throwing things. Can they remember the First Republic? Everything started in Ibadan here. Fire on the mountain, cross-carpeting and whatever. And that's probably one of the things that had made Nigeria to be what it is today. So we should be responsible in our comments and not just fanning the ember of disunity. Religion is not a problem in the country. Ethnicity is not a problem in the country. But elites who, for their selfish reasons, are benefiting from all this. We shouldn't be using our fault lines to do narration on all the things we do. We should be sincere. And for our people as well, who put those people in the some of the institutions or governments to the Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic or the other, is holding it in themselves, know that these people are holding whatever position in their trust. That is what all of us, the media, the civil society group, let us see how we can educate, enlighten our people. The power they have under the Constitution. They may say the Chapter 2 is not justiciable, but we can enlighten our people to know that they have the superior power over anyone in authority. If we don't start doing that, we must be enlightening our people. That is what will solve the problem. It's not about whether a Yoruba man is a president, Igbo man or Hausa man is a president. What does that person make use of the power that has been given to him? What do the people do with the authority they have to challenge and to say that you are holding this authority and power in trust for us, and we can as well, take it from you? That is where we should start from. Professor Akali had talked about restructuring. We should be talking of devolution of powers and all these narratives and lamentations we are making. We should be thinking of how we move on and how we can
all those things that you have said are quite taken and, very, very valid indeed. And they would sound more, especially your latter views, sound more like something a little more futuristic. But here in the clear and present are the challenges that a good number of people have in the domain that you visited. Now, you've talked, about Igangan, but then there is also, I'm sure you're aware, maybe there is, a number of people may also mix it up, is that of Ibarakwa in the Okeogun area, where, this fellow that you just mentioned has, made some statements and done some things and visited the Seriki that you also referenced earlier and all of that. So in tackling this issue, and you say we should move on, if you look at it, you would find that over the past 3 months or thereabout, there have been repeated cases of these, and people are reported to have said that, look, we have expected government to intervene. We have gone to the police. We didn't hear anything for weeks. Now, talking about moving on and the efforts that are being made by government now, how come those things happened for several weeks? People reported to the police, mentioned the culprits, pointed to areas where these people emanated from, and nothing happened at that time. If we are going to move on, and people already have little or no confidence in the authorities, what's the assurance we have that what's happening in Okeogun and the Igangan area where you visited today will not replicate or is not already happening in other areas that we are not aware of?
Thank you. A little bit, let me first correct. Ibarakwa is not in Okeogun. Ibarakwa is Ibarakwa. Okeogun is Okeogun. And okay. I must also say this as well. That is why I said the institutions, especially the police, they shouldn't chicken out. They should be able to celebrate their success. You have said that, so things have been happening for the past 3 weeks. And of course, what has been said is nothing has happened. And I'm telling you, because of what I do, we follow up with things that happened there. I have mentioned to you that those kidnap cases that took place, suspects, I mean real principal suspects were arrested, which some of the victims have come to identify. It does not stop in arresting. It's also about taking the process through to logical conclusion. How much of efforts have been made to take them to logical conclusion? Somehow, you see a lull, somehow you see progress. But is the institution speaking out? In some cases, when they even parade suspect, it ends at suspect being paraded. And I want to challenge the media as well. You also have that responsibility under the Constitution for oversight. You should follow up those cases. You should be able to ask, oh, why has this case not gone to court? What is delaying it in court? I've mentioned one instant case of that lady. Even the recent case of Mr. Agbola, who after ransom has been collected, he was killed. They have suspects there. And all these people are there. We've said it. There is nothing to hide about it. It is a clear evidence that out of about 51 suspects that have been arrested, 85 to 90% belong to one ethnic group. That is to say that they are not being sacrificed. And there are things that some of us are hiding as well. I mean, some of the people in that area, because you have conspiracy of silence in most cases because they will say they don't have confidence. That is what I'm saying. It's not as if nothing hasn't been done. As Aide was closed about 3 weeks ago, you can go and verify that. I was in a meeting with the local government caretaker chairman from that axis of Ibarapa and Okyogun. Certain things were agreed to. And in starting the things, Amotekun went to that area in conjunction with some of the non-state actors to go and do some work. It's the same people that came to say that, they are doing this, including the so-called Seriki. They've said Seriki Fulani of Oyo State. There are some other Serikis that are coming up. And who are the people installing them? The same people that are complaining. And the guy also, felt that he was doing himself well when the good ones went into where the criminals are hibernating and they were trying to do a clearance operation. He was the one that came out to say that, look, they are trying to get Fulani people out of that place because he wasn't involved. They involved the good ones. Weighty allegations have been made against him. And I can tell you, it was yesterday that I got to do some of this. We've been having interactions. I personally have had interactions to share my experience. I'm no more in the police. We share experience. We advise the people that work. The governor provides the wherewithal. So it is for people to carry out the operation, and they've been doing it. So today we would say, we've reported threats. People have come. We would say they're not doing it well. Then the thing comes back. So what we're saying now is that we are, advising and helping the institution, especially the police and other security agencies, that they need to rejig their efforts. They need to, bridge the confidence gap. And I believe that when they do that, even the former commissioner of police, I know when Mr. Shina Olukolu was there, he did a tour of that place. The immediate past commissioner of police went to that area to see what we can do. When it comes to security, is the work
Mr. Oshani,
of everyone.
I'm sorry I have to interrupt you. Let me bring you up.
Yes.
Let me take you up on two questions. You've talked about how the security agencies need to celebrate their wins more. That would also, according to you, bring the people closer to government or know what it is that is happening at the level of government. Someone will ask, what gap was Amotekun created to fill? Shouldn't Amotekun have been able to fill that particular gap, that if suspects have been arrested in certain situations, the local Amotekun, which is closer to the people, have been drawn from amongst the people, will be able to say this is the progress made in this circumstance. That's one. The second was that there was a statewide broadcast last week by the governor of Oyo State, which seemed to have gotten wind that things were about to get out of hand in certain areas. It was seen that that statewide broadcast did not have the desired effect. Apart from the speech that was made, what other steps were taken to ensure that violence was not visited on certain homes in the manner that we saw happened in the state over the week, last week towards the weekend?
Thank you, Maupe. Let me first correct one impression. Amotekun is not the institution that is responsible for giving a feedback to the people. It's created to fill a void, which they've been trying to do. And you've also seen how the same people who were enthusiastic when Amatekun was to be created, who later came demonizing them after they must have given intelligence report. What do I mean by the police as an institution not celebrating its success? If you've arrested people, have they been, arraigned in court? If you've arraigned them in court and you're having challenges, because the criminal justice administration has so many legs, it starts from the police arresting, you go to the court and all those things. Have you come out to say, this is this? How much of effort have you made to, let the family members know that this is the progress of the investigation. This is how we are. These are the ones that we've not been able to prosecute. How much effort have you made to bring even some of the victims on board? In some of the cases, we even have the victims after arrests have been made and they've gone there to say, oh, yes, this is the person that actually did this. Come and make statements. Some shy away. So we have a lot to do in educating people on how to follow up cases. You've also made mention of the statement made by His Excellency, the governor of your state.
Before you answer the second question, I'm going to ask you to please hold your thoughts. We'll take a break and then you'll answer it when we come back from the break. Please stay with us.
Thank you.
Mr. Fatai Owosheni is still with us in the studio, and he was just about to, he's with us on Zoom in Ibadan. And he was just about to answer the second part of a question which we posed just before we went on break, which is about the governor getting a wind or getting intelligence that something untoward was about to happen, hence the reason for the statewide broadcast. But it would seem that it did not have the desired effect. Do you want to quickly explain what transpired there?
Yes, I want to tell you that it has a desired effect. That is why I say so many things are happening on the social media. We have friends, we have families that are not here in your state. We have those ones that are not in Nigeria. And questions are asked, even yesterday, while we were on that trip. Where are you? Be careful. Are people even out in Ibadan doing their business? Come to your state. People are going about their business. From Igangan to Igano to, of course, Erua, Otu, Aguare, Tede. We went to all those places and people are really going about their businesses. People don't want to be fooled by anybody, fanning the embers of disunity. Because the impression that has been created on the social media is that you cannot even transact any business in your state. We need to be very careful. Someone had come on the social media, that female that said, I want to warn people, if they are in your state, on a Friday or so, one incoherent thing like this, nobody should come out because they've said they will do this, they said they will do that. So what I'm saying is that this speech and the statement made by His Excellency has its desired effect for people to go about their lawful business. In that case, in Igangan, we need to move on with regards to that. And that is why from professional experience, everyone saw what we did in Lagos. It was at the thick of the farmers' headman's crisis in Benue State that I went there and have seen all these things. It's not just starting. We've been on this since the colonial era. I think the deliberate effort which the government needs to start is that we've talked and talked. So many panels have been set up with regards to farmers and herdsmen crisis. What can we do? Some other countries do have farmers. They have people that are also pastoralists. Why are they not having the problem? So many solutions, recommendations have been made. No one is working on them. We keep on meeting. We keep on convening a security summit. I think It goes back to the people, yourself, myself, all of us. Let us take people into account as part of the provisions of Chapter 2 of of our Constitution. It seems as if we are laid back. We shouldn't continue that way. Everyone that has the means, the civil society group, the media, how much of enlightenment should we do? So, in effect, I can say emphatically that the statement of the governor of Oyo State has its desired impact. Other areas that we went to Aide and Aguare, and I'm surprised that some people are putting it on the social media that Aide and Aguare are having a religious war or something like that. Meanwhile, what has happened in the place is about market positions and not that two communities who are supposed to be families are fighting each other.
As you wind down on this one, when you say that no one seems to be working on some of these things to bring about solutions, you talked about the police, the individual, I think the Seriki there who you said has been indicted, what has the police done? So could you then tell us what measures have been put in place to ensure that these things don't get to this extent again, that if any such kidnapping or any such thing happens, there are bodies or groups in place to address those matters so that people have confidence that the authorities can address it, and as such, no one should be encouraged to take laws into their hands?
One of the things is what has happened yesterday. It's a brand new commissioner of police in the state. They have a brand new, some set of deputy commissioners that are new. They have listened to the people. They have seen the gaps. They probably will learn from this. Yes, they are new, but they should quick. Like the governor told the commissioner, your job is cut out for you. So see how you can change things. See how you can bring the institution more closer to the people. See what you can do for people to have confidence in you. We don't have to be comparison to compare one administration. That is one leadership with the other. So everyone, all of us are listening, and I think it's even a right, a step that is quickly taken, that the commissioner of police just spending 1 week felt that I should go and listen. And a whole lot of things were said out yesterday that I think that the new commissioner of police and our lieutenants will work on. So the more we bridge the gap, the confidence in people, the police wasn't like this people.
Especially that prosecution part, those who have committed anything, you talked about how many have been taken to court.
And when it comes to when it comes to prosecution, I'm aware that some are in court. But if the police is having challenge, police is not the one that decide on cases. That is also what people don't know. You have the judiciary, including our Nigerian Bar Association. I think the process of justice is too long in this country. We should find a way of shortening it so that people will quickly see that justice is quickly dispensed.
All right, Mr. Fatai Owosheni, essay to the governor on security matters, as well as the former commissioner of police for Lagos and Benue States. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.